What's up, guys? We're back for an all-new episode of Couch Quickies. You know, the show that gives you useless information that you didn't know you wanted to know.
That's right.
That one. I am your host, Nadia. Joined with me is...
What's up, everybody? It's Omar here for you. How are you doing today? How was this Tuesday?
Always pauses for the audience to respond.
I know, because that way when we finally do live shows...
They can say it.
When we get an audience, then we'll already have it built in to like our memory, our muscle memory.
Okay.
Like, always pause for that.
Sure. Whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Put it on your vision
Okay, I'm
board.
putting my timer.
Okay.
Getting my timer ready. We're just gonna jump into it.
Right.
Because let's see. Are we ahead of April Fools or are we after April Fools? We're ahead. Hasn't happened yet, but we're talking about it. So, if you guessed it, April Fools.
That's right. So,
sorry to interrupt. I will be interrupting you a lot later because I don't know anything about. That's what I wanted to say. I don't know anything about today's topic.
Right.
We've switched it up. Omar did a bunch of research on April Fools, and he's going to educate me and everybody else about it.
that's right. I'm going to show you guys all kind of facts that you could totally Google on your own, but you haven't because you've come here to watch us read them off of this computer. So let's go.
We do the work for you.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and start the clock. Get that 20 minutes in so we can get this couch quickie on April Fools started.
Hold on.
Let's remember our passwords first.
Okay. Can't really see my face for the Face ID. And 20 minutes.
All right. You ready?
What?
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at all this hair on the microphone.
This is the bane of our existence. Is these dogs. They sleep through our podcast and they shed on our microphones. But now we're wasting time.
Yes, just go.
Precious seconds. Man.
All right. Give me the lowdown.
Do you know when April Fool's started?
I thought you were going to say when it is.
No, right. Do you know what it is?
I'm not a moron.
Right? Because
I know nothing about it.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Absolutely
There is
nothing.
a lot of that's a good question that I was gonna propose to you so you could be like, no. And I'm like, well, you know what? Nobody does. I've already done that.
Yay.
But here's the thing. Some people say that April Fool's goes back as far as this ancient Roman festival called Hilaria.
Okay.
Let's say, right? Some people say it dates back to the medieval times to a festival in December called the Feast of Fools. And even in the Canterbury Tales, which is like a book from like 13 and 1400s, there's something in there that kind of you could infer is like an April Fool's prank.
Got it.
And those are all like around March, right? So
reminds me of Hunchback of Notre Dame. Remember in the movie? When they have the Festival of Fools or Feast of Fools or something like that.
Okay, so that's one of those.
Okay.
That we listed. But here's what I found. I found this, I think, was like a history.com.
Oh, okay.
So, you know what I mean? So I know it's
So it sounds legit?
Yeah, it's completely legit.
Okay.
It says
Sources checked.
A lot of the historians, if you will, dated back to about 1582, which is when France went from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar.
Okay.
Okay. So when they switched over to the Gregorian calendar, it changed everything around for everybody, that was following that Julian.
Okay.
Where April 1st was like the beginning of the year.
Oh.
But now it was January 1st.
Oh.
So what they say is that the people that were kind of late to get that message or didn't want to, like, that's not my calendar. You know what I'm saying? Those people still celebrated that week of like the end of March to celebrate April 1st, like the beginning of the new year or whatever.
That's interesting because Nowruz just happened, which is very close to around that time. Which in all honesty, like I was thinking about this the other day. That, not to stray off, but I just thought about it. That makes more sense to me to have the New Year's in spring. Well, it feels like more of a rebirth and a change and a fresh start than January 1st. You're like still in the middle of winter.
Right,
it's like
so that's the thing. That's like all the other people that were celebrating what would make the most sense, and they had already chosen. They were still celebrating that time, so they were known as the like April Fools. You know what I mean? So that's kind of
jokes on them.
Came from. Yeah.
Got it.
And they call it like April's fish. Okay. Because so I'm gonna do this really, really bad French reading right here. Those people were referred to as Poisson d'avril.
Yeah, I think that
right.
That sounds good.
Or
that
April fish. And what they used to do is like by pranking them, they would like pin like a paper fish to their back, like a kick me sign.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, look at those April fish, like losers. You know what I mean?
That's so sad. Just because they didn't want to like go with the changes.
Right. So I started reading.
They're like, you guys are stupid. The New Year's clearly in spring. Well, I would have had a fish on my back.
That led me. You would have had a fish.
I would
like, nah, spring or nothing.
Yeah, I'm down.
Well, it cracks me up because I started looking at like other places. Like, okay, well, how do other people celebrate? Do other countries care? You know what I mean? So it turns out that this is going on everywhere. Okay, and let's say Italy, France, Belgium, all the people that come from kind of like that part of the world, they all do that April fish. You know, kind of like that's how they celebrate. If you will. Then you've got England, which has obviously, you know, April Fools and stuff like that in the UK. But their joke, like their April Fools stopped at midday.
Oh.
So it's like, yo, you can get all your jokes you want.
Only for half the day?
But as soon as it's noon.
There's a cutoff?
It's a cutoff. And a lot of countries apparently like
that is so bizarre.
Like it's like, yo, it's midday. Grow up. Like cut it out.
You only get 12 hours.
Yeah, but I did find that like in Ireland and Scotland, it was a real popular prank where you would give a friend a letter and then you'd be like, okay, go deliver it to Mark. So then, you know, Mark would take the letter, open it, read it, and then go, okay, you need to deliver this to Alan. But what's written on the letter is just like, send this guy further. Or like send the fool further.
So it just keeps going and going.
It depends on how many times you can get that person or your friend to keep going to other places.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because they're supposedly not reading the letter.
Oh.
It's like you're reading, like, okay, no, I need you to take this to them.
So it's
just a way to be able to get like your friend or the victim of your prank to just wander, you know, all day.
It's really messed up, actually. What a waste of time.
Well, and then I was looking around at like, nowadays, most April Fools things that you see are like commercials, or every newspaper will sometimes run like one fake story.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that. But nobody recognizes it as a holiday.
What do you mean nobody recognizes?
Well, it's not like nobody.
It's in the calendar.
Yeah, but do you get the day off? Like, it's not like.
Well, it's not
a
that
federal
kind of
holiday. It's not a national holiday. It's not a. It's just like a day we. You know, all
it's not for sure. You look that up. It's not a holiday.
Yeah, it's not a holiday.
I mean, not a holiday.
It's a holiday in the loose sense of the like word, but it's
because there's a lot of holidays we don't get off of work that are not recognized.
Right. But trust me, it's not.
I can't think of any right now.
The only place that I know that it's like recognized, like by the country or the city or whatever, is in the Ukraine.
Okay.
So in Odessa, Ukraine, there is a festival called I'm going to butcher this too. The Humarina.
Okay.
Humarina Festival, which started in the 70s. But that's like a bash. Like, so on April 1st, they all go down there and to the city center, and there's parades and musicians.
Fun.
And, you know, a bunch of just fun times.
Yeah.
But that's the only place that I found
still
that
do
has.
that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least up to 2019. I don't think they did it.
Well, yeah.
2020 when pandemic started.
That'd be a cool thing to see.
Yeah.
Because it's a unique experience.
I was like, that's dope. Like, I would go to Odessa, Ukraine.
I would too.
And if we have any listeners in Ukraine and you want to, you know, let us know more about it, please let us know.
I don't know. We'll have to look at the map of our statistics.
I know.
What do our stats say?
But away from some of the facts, how about like pranks that you've pulled? Have you ever pulled any pranks on April Fools?
I feel like it's so bad. I've been racking my brain and I don't really remember any that I've done.
No, same here. It's crazy.
Like there's for sure had to have been some little stupid pranks that I tried to pull on like my parents or like my friends, but nothing that memorable. Plus, two, I usually give up right away because I'm just like, I'm just kidding.
You don't have like...
I can't handle it. No.
You start feeling bad.
Yeah, I feel really bad.
You know, I remember playing like little kid pranks. You know what I mean? That you do. But
Like
but
what?
nothing. I never got into like an extravagant or like an elaborate, I should say, an elaborate prank where
you didn't use
like, there was all kind of-
cellophane wrap or anything for anything.
No, I mean I've done.
You seen the toilet one?
Yeah,
It's so
anything you saw in like Problem Child or
Yeah.
like movies like that, I totally tried it, but it was never like an April Fool's thing.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I didn't really like April Fools. Like I was kind of like hating on April Fools for a long time.
You were.
But I think it's because
until now.
What is the thing? I think the people that are around you
Mm-hmm.
are usually kind of lazy about it. So it's like if it's April
What do you
Fools,
mean?
okay, so go ahead and go into your Instagram feed,
Mm-hmm.
and I bet you're gonna see a bunch of like pregnancy.
Yeah, that's a very
or,
common
like,
one.
It's just like that's so lazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And because of that, I end up being like April Fool sucks.
Yeah.
But
I mean, get creative.
well, that's the thing, right? So that's what I was thinking. I was like, have I ever done anything? I was like, no. I think the most creative thing I've ever done is get like one of those buckets. You know, where you put the bucket above the door frame?
You did that?
Yeah, we did that.
With what, water?
Yeah. But that was like in college. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And again, I don't know that it was on April Fool's, but that's like, I think the most.
That's okay. We can give people prank ideas.
I know. Have you ever been pranked?
I feel like I have. I've definitely been scared, like when somebody jumps out at you.
Yeah, that's a classic.
That's a classic. and I'm good at the you'll get the reaction you want from me because I'm dramatic about it. Not even on purpose. Just I like literally always get caught off guard. Like one time I started crying. I was like really high too, but still. Yeah, it was my ex's friend. And we were going for this like hike, and he went ahead of us, and I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And it was late at night, kind of by the beach, and he jumped out, and he was like, "Yeah!" And I was like, I just like broke down and started crying. I like dropped to my knees and everything. It was so bad. Like I thought I was gonna die right then and there. Like some wild animal is about to attack me.
You know,
Yeah.
That just reminded me of the video we were seeing yesterday where the guy is peeling a nectarine or like an orange or something, and there's supposed to be a pill in it, but the second one he opens is one of those spiders that flies out on the screen.
Yes, exactly.
Man,
Case in point.
You threw
saw
your
it.
phone so far.
I threw my phone.
So funny. And I wanted to record you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my problem thing is like you always want to record the person getting pranked, but you're trying to do it so that they don't know that something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't get it, but oh man.
Yeah, it was one of those spider jumping at the screen videos. And I was yo!
All right, so actually I remember the last time that I was pranked was actually by you. Okay, so I don't know if you remember this, but I was sitting here at the house with Alan. And Bourbon was here, but Penny wasn't here. I couldn't find her. And I was like, what's I was like, so I called you and I'm like, hey, I don't see Penny. And you were like, no, I left her there. And that set me and Alan off on a whirlwind of emotions. We were trapped in this glass condo of emotions.
I remember.
We went through everything. We ran upstairs. We ran into the kitchen. I went into into the closets. And I was texting you. You were like, no, like you were really committing to it. I was so mad. And Alan was getting super worked up because he loves dogs. Like,
Alan's still mad at me about it.
Like, I think this dog is dead somewhere. And we're like, oh my God. But that was the last time. And you got me. That was I
did get you good. And that's the thing, actually, now that you mention it, that's the one prank that I have done a couple times. And I think I've done it to maybe my mom, my ex for sure, and definitely you. So yeah, that's the one. And it's through text usually. So it's easier for me to keep it going. Because I'll just be like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. That's weird. You can't find her? What do you mean? What do you mean? Have you found her? Like then I start freaking out.
I was like, I just wouldn't think that you would joke about that. Like, you know what I mean? Because you're always like, oh, the dogs. Like, so.
What do you mean? That's the perfect setup.
I know. It was. It was. And I was like, I was sweating. I was so mad.
Yeah. Gotcha, bitch.
But okay, so this brings up kind of the point of like, do you think that pranks they usually go too far? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it just depends. Some do, some don't.
Right. Because like, what do you think? Okay, what do you think about like really big, like elaborate pranks on like a whole city.
A whole city?
Okay, so the reason I bring
How
this up
the
is
heck
this,
can you pull that off?
The one I remember two April Fool's pranks from the Kevin and Bean show on K-Rock, which is a radio show out here, or was a radio show out here in Los Angeles in the mornings. And one of their famous ones was they pretended to have Tom York, the singer from Radiohead, in. Mm-hmm. And the joke was that one of the guys kept making fun of his little eye because he's kind of got like a bit of a lazy eye. Uh-huh. And they get into a fight.
Okay.
And they get into a fight and they have to, it's like crazy. You could probably find it on YouTube if you look it up. And, you know, the people started freaking out. And the management, like Radiohead's management started freaking out because they didn't know that they weren't really there. Oh. But he was like, the guy was never there. It was one of the guys that worked there that did that. Uh-huh. So that one was pretty good. And they got in trouble. Like they got in trouble because people thought, you know, the show's going to be canceled because they just, you know, punched Tom York.
That's hilarious.
But the other one was, so they had this thing of always making fun of the Inland Empire, which is like 909 at the time. Kevin and Bean.
Oh, still right? Kevin.
Sorry. These are both Kevin and Bean stories. So they were always making fun of the 909.
Right, of course.
951 hadn't started yet. It was still 909, their area code. So one year, as like an apology to them, they were like, okay, we're throwing a Blink-182 concert in a parking lot in like San Bernardino.
Oh, no.
So they were like, all right, so just come out. It's going to be a free show. It's in this parking lot. And they jammed like traffic. There was like traffic jams and like this whole, because people were looking for it and they were never there. Oh. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm trying to remember if they were playing like audio clips from the show. Like, okay, here we are. We're in this parking lot. Come on
onto
down.
The radio?
Yeah. Like, so they
Dang,
it was like really
that's
elaborate.
So dirty.
And people were calling in like, I can't find it.
They were probably so mad.
Yeah, they got in trouble. Apparently, after stuff like that, none of the stations that were owned by their parent company were allowed to do April Fool's jokes anymore. Like
they took it too far. That was the one that took it. They probably had a lot of people complain.
Right.
I wonder if it affected their ratings, like their listens.
They probably got better. Because, like,
you think?
I think so.
Do you think all those people from the IE still listened in?
I mean, they changed to 951 probably to be like, yo, they gotta stop.
We're not 909ers anymore.
Stop lumping us in. But that got me thinking of like big elaborate pranks or pranks that people have, like fake stories that people have believed. Right. And we're not talking like fake news stuff. We're talking like things that were meant to be jokes, but people believed it. And the vice versa of things that were serious that were reported or stories that broke on April 1st that people didn't believe.
Oh, okay.
So which one do you want to go?
Real?
Which one do you want to go first? Do you want to go? Because how much time we got left?
Well, you got 3 minutes.
All right. So do you want to go stories that were real that people didn't believe? Or vice versa?
Do 1 minute of each. Go.
Okay. All right. So here we go. So So in 2004, Google announced the like Gmail, and they had I don't know I think it was a gig of memory.
Okay.
And people didn't believe it. It was just like, no, there's no way.
Like that it exists?
That it existed. So that was like a real story that people were like, oh, what an April Fool's joke.
Did they accidentally, like they didn't plan it properly and released it that day?
I don't know. They just did it. I mean, you have to know. I don't know the intricate details of the Google launch, of the Gmail launch.
That's funny.
I know that was one of them.
So the next day and they realized it was real.
Another one, and this was kind of sad, was there was a comedian by the name of Mitch Hedberg. And if you guys don't know who Mitch Hedberg is, definitely look him up.
I got a belt on that's holding up my pants, and my pants have belt loops that hold up my belt. I don't know what's really happening down there. Who is the real hero?
He was hilarious. But he died late March. But the news kind of broke around April 1st. And again, they were like, when it's a comedian and it's somebody that, you know, people don't want to be dead. Like
he's kind of tall. Receding hairline?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he had like long hair, usually wore glasses and stuff, had a real deadpan, very dry.
It's so familiar. I feel like I know him. Yeah.
You've seen me watch him.
Okay.
And stuff. He's he's got like.
That's sad. He died and no one believed it.
Right. Well, people, I still don't want to believe it. And here's a real tough one. In 1946, there was warnings about an earthquake right off Hawaii, and the tsunami that was coming.
Stop.
And it was like, hey, April Fool's, but and it killed 165 people.
Oh.
Yeah, so
they're just like, don't even try.
Yeah, in Hawaii and Alaska. So it was so that's those are stories.
But didn't they feel the actual earthquake?
I don't think so, because I think it was like in an island. It was like an island earthquake. It says the Aleutian.
They were like the island is playing jokes on us.
It's not real, brother.
It's not a real earthquake.
For a tsunami to happen, earthquakes are in the sea.
Yeah, see?
Okay.
It has to be. Our
But can't you still feel
research teams let us know that.
No?
No, because it's in the middle of the ocean.
Got it.
Well, and here's some that were complete hoaxes that people believed. Okay?
22 seconds. Go.
We're gonna go a little bit long. Here we go. The earliest April Fool's hoax that is recorded was in 1698 in London.
Okay.
Where the Tower of London used to have a menagerie, right, with a bunch of animals.
A menagerie.
A menagerie. It was a world-class menagerie.
Ali, I'm in the menagerie.
Yeah, so Prince Ali Ababa's menagerie at the Tower of London.
Okay. Okay.
That's
it's okay. Keep going.
So they
basically
the story. Put out what would be a 1600s press release that was like, hey, come watch the washing, like the bathing of the lions in the moat at Tower of London.
Wow.
So all the people went.
Yeah.
And there was nothing there. It was like, hey, April
they
Fools.
thought there was going to be real lions bathing in the menagerie.
There were real lions there, but because they had lions there, but it was like this whole like you're gonna get to see them bathing in the moat. And people, so it was like the first like recorded prank on April Fools
on like a large amount of people too.
And because it was so popular, or because it worked, they did it for like a couple more years.
And they fell for it every time?
Down to the point where they were just doing it to tourists. Down to the point where it was like,
that's good.
Yeah, some people even printed tickets.
Yeah.
And we're talking like 1700s, like, you know what I mean? But that was...
They printed tickets.
Yeah.
Innovators.
They said by the mid 19th century. So this made it to the 19th century.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, duh.
Just keep going. I'm like, yeah.
Anyway, by the mid, that's when they were printing tickets. Like, yeah, I get it. It's
well.
Anyway, there was I'm gonna give you two more. Okay. This one was kind of funny. In 1957, the BBC, the British Broadcasting Company, they told their viewers that there was an exceptionally heavy spaghetti crop in Switzerland.
What?
Okay, so this news report came out that Switzerland had an incredible spaghetti crop because the spaghetti weevil, which was like, an insect that usually destroys the crops, they had pretty much disappeared. And they ran these like videos of people cutting spaghetti off of trees.
People believed it?
Yeah. So, that's what the news report showed. Like, look, in Switzerland, there's been a crazy crop of spaghetti trees, and they're like cutting spaghetti off the trees. You can find this video somewhere.
The last 2 weeks of March are an anxious time for the spaghetti farmer. There's always the chance of a late frost, which, while not entirely ruining the crop, generally impairs the flavor. But now these dangers are over, and the spaghetti harvest goes forward.
But people believe that. Like people were calling into the BBC, like, where can I get a spaghetti bush? I'm trying to grow noodles. Yeah, straight up.
That's stupid.
And we'll end on one that was done in 2016 by National Geographic. Okay. So National Geographic put out a press release saying that they were no longer going to take pictures of naked animals. So it was like, we're no longer going to take photos of animals in the nude. So when people would click on their story or whatever, it was just a bunch of pictures of like dogs and cats in suits and like clothing.
That is
it was
so
like April
stupid.
Fools. But yeah, that's the report
that's
that came
cute,
out.
though.
Like, no more nude animal photography.
See, that's like a cheeky one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That was
It's
cool.
like
nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
There was no traffic jams in the 909.
Well, I was gonna say this is not April Fool's related. This is just prank related. It reminded me of one of my favorite shows ever.
Okay.
MXC.
Oh my God. The most extreme elimination challenge.
Because to me, that's kind of actually no.
No, you.
I'm thinking of the Asian prank shows.
The Japanese prank shows that we'll watch. because the MXC has that kind of vibe.
It does, yeah.
But yeah, those, man.
Yeah,
those are the
guys,
best.
if you're looking for a good prank, YouTube Asian prank shows, and they are incredible.
Man, the Japanese pranks where people go into like a sauna or a steam room at like a ski resort are probably some of the funniest videos you'll see this week.
Or how about when you got to look up the one where they go to the bathroom and they sit on the toilet and then like a jet ski or something literally pulls the whole person on the toilet out of the whole room and into the water, and they're just like shitting on the toilet being like pulled across the water. It's so messed up, but you should watch it.
You should. And you should definitely watch more Couch Quickies every Tuesday.
Yes.
Right here on YouTube.
Yes.
Look at us.
On YouTube.
So professional. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and call that. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on another Tuesday on another Couch Quickies. This one on April Fool's. I will say bye. I am Omar, and this is
Nadia. Woo-woo. Bye.
Bye, guys.
You'd like it.
You know what's crazy? I think I would